Welcome back to our channel. I feel like I have lip gloss on my teeth, so if I have lip gloss on my teeth while I'm filming this, please ignore that. I got engaged in July. Ooh. We toured a bunch of venues in October to help us figure out where we want to get married. And obviously we're living in a pandemic right now, and originally, like, as much as we would love to have to get married sooner rather than later, that's not really an option for us. So we decided to wait until 2022 to get married, which kind of opened up a whole ballpark of like where we wanted to get married, because there's just so many possibilities here in Nashville, and obviously a lot of 2021 dates are booked, but not necessarily 2022. My mom came to town in October and we toured 4 venues. Obviously, with the way that, you know, venues and everything and just the wedding industry in general works, is everything is typically word of mouth. You find out about like people's experiences at certain venues. It kind of helped us eliminate where we wanted to tour. I mean, obviously getting engaged in July and then touring venues in October, we had a lot of time to do our research. You know, there were a ton of venues that were on our first initial place to look at, and after talking to our wedding planner, if you want to know who I hired for the wedding planner, I found her on Instagram. You know, that's just how we find about everything. So I asked her about like the venues that were on my list. She told me like ones that she thought would work well with me, and then also gave me a more insight on whether or not the venues were like open vendors. That eliminated a lot, because I did want to have that open vendor policy, because obviously there's a ton of vendors here in Nashville that are just amazing. We toured a total of 4 venues and I got footage of all of them, except I didn't get too much footage of the last one because the tour was very intense, and I wanted to take you guys along with me on this hunt, and then kind of reveal at the end where we ended up booking our wedding. So our first venue we toured is actually a stunning property here in East Nashville that is brand new. It's called Riverside Revival. This venue is just so beautiful. Basically it's an old church that is getting flipped over to become a venue for events and all concerts and stuff like that when, you know, the pandemic is over. Honestly, the space is beautiful. The chandeliers are amazing. It's super tall ceilings, which is amazing. The only thing I truly didn't love about the space is that the stage is just so there, so you would probably have to get married on an elevated surface as opposed to your guests, which are down here. It is a smaller venue, so it only holds up to 200 people. Our wedding is looking to be about 200 people, so that kind of made things a little bit difficult because we didn't know exactly when we wanted to get married. We basically had it set to end of March through September. We're off limits because I just don't like the summer and I'm not much of a spring person, so we didn't know when we truly wanted to get married. And the only problem that we ran into with this venue was that the space was really small. Basically it'd be really hard to do like a flip, so transforming it from like the ceremony to the reception area would be difficult, and it would be very crammed. There wasn't a lot of room for, you know, anything additional, so like, you know, a photo booth or something like that. I couldn't do that, so that kind of was a bummer. It had this really awesome, like, I mean, you know how churches are. They have like the little overhang, which is super cool. I don't know, the place is just beautiful. The windows are beautiful. It's truly a beautiful venue, and I'm obsessed with it. We're feeling really hopeful after we saw that one, because we didn't go into it like, after seeing how many people it could fit, we were a little skeptical on how big it would feel, but it feels a lot bigger when you're in the space. So that one was... The next one we toured was the Elle. And if you're familiar with the Nashville area, they actually own the Cordell as well. That is a very popular destination to get married in here in Nashville. It's just right outside of downtown. It's pretty much downtown. And I've been to a wedding there and it's super, super pretty. It just was a little bit small for us. My friend Amelia, who does my hair at Local Honey, she told me to check out the St. Elle because it's a new venue. I was a little hesitant at first because I wasn't sure what the vibe that I wanted to go for the wedding was. I kind of wanted it to be really, really classy, and I still obviously want it to be a classy wedding. I definitely wanted an open canvas, and this was the venue that would offer that. You can break it down into two separate sections. There is one section which is made for the ceremony, and then there's one section that is made more for the reception, and you can close those two things off so it seems like two separate rooms, but then you can also open it up if you so desire, which was really, really nice. I loved the floors here. I loved the natural light. It is pretty close to downtown. It's in the Wedgwood, Houston area, which is a really fun area. I mean, the bar area just reminded me so much of our house. Just the aesthetic and everything like that. The bathrooms are perfect. I mean, my mom was obsessed with the bathrooms. The wallpaper, it's just chef's kiss. It was really nice that this venue offered both, you know, suites for the bride and the groom to get ready in. I know that's something that people kind of overlook when it comes to cost and everything, and that was something that was really, really handy that they included. I don't necessarily know if that's something I'm going to be utilizing. I'm sure we'll utilize it, you know, an hour before the wedding or something like that, but my bridal party will probably get ready in the house here just for more space. They have like these big beams on the ceiling which offer you to hang things from, which is really, really cool, and it was just a very big blank canvas, which we really, really enjoyed. There wasn't really anything we did not like. I don't know, the venue is just so pretty and we were super, super, super obsessed with it. Have nothing negative to say about it, honestly. It's just immaculate, if I were to say so myself. That same day we toured the Marathon Music Works, and I actually have never been in here, but when I looked at it online, the pictures looked way different than, you know, it kind of reminded me of like what you order online versus when it arrives in the mail. It was set up for, I guess, a punk rock concert or something like that, and my mom was like, it is a beautiful space. It's just so freaking big. I mean, it holds so many people, and it is definitely a music venue, and you can tell. It has its pros and cons. You don't really have to worry about, you know, people spilling stuff. There was like a little suite where you could get the wedding party ready beforehand. It's not necessarily like where everyone would get their hair and makeup done. There were areas that you could rent out in addition to it. Basically the way Marathon Music works is I think you rent out the entire like ballroom, which includes that little area to get ready, but to have this like additional bar area was, I think, I don't even remember how much it was, and then there was another bar area that you could rent out as well. In theory, seems like a good idea, but I don't know if I really want everyone kind of like all over the place at my wedding. My mom was a little taken aback by the restrooms because they just looked like a normal music venue restroom, and I feel like after going from the St. Elle to Marathon Music Works, she was shocked. Basically, we eliminated Marathon Music Works pretty instantly. I mean, I'm sure there are beautiful weddings there. It just wasn't what we were looking for. Okay, now moving on to the final venue we toured, which was Frist Art Museum. I, for some reason, have always had this infinity for the art museum here. I've never been there, but it just seems so classy to me. I mean, the art museum is beautiful, and it didn't seem like a super crazy price, but let me just say, if you want to get married at Frist Art Museum, the initial cost to book the place isn't that bad, but the way they get you is through the alcohol, and unlike the other places that I toured, it doesn't really have an open vendor policy. I don't know, it was just a completely different vibe than the other venues we toured, because this one, I mean, it just has like a standard ballroom, which is cool, I guess, but that's just not what I was looking for. Like, anything with carpet is an automatic no. And we spent a lot of the time in there looking at the ballroom area, which would hold the right amount of people for our wedding. But again, there was a freaking stage. I don't know what it is with the stages here, but we did love the main, I don't even know what it would be called, the grand entrance area, where it's Art Deco. It's beautiful. I didn't realize that certain things can't be moved because they're like part of history, you know? So that kind of eliminated the possibility of having that as the ceremony area. I really liked the idea of getting married in the fall and then having the Turner courtyard being the area where we have the ceremony and everything like that. But I'm not sure if maybe the woman just misspoke when my mom asked her about how much the tent would cost. She told us it was $21,000 to just rent the tent, and $21,000 seems like a lot of money. I'm assuming she meant $2,100, which is still a lot of money, but like a little bit different. So when we heard that, we were automatically like, I don't think this is a place for us. But then we also found out that for the bar, and where you want an open bar, because our friends are pretty wild, you have to pay for every drink. So that would add up very, very quickly, as opposed to just as $45 a person kind of thing. The thing that we didn't love about that, but man, Frist Art Museum is a beautiful place, and if you have that kind of money to have a wedding, I'm jealous. It just was too expensive for me. But it was beautiful, and the girl who was in charge of like giving us the tour was the cutest woman ever. But those are definitely the weddings that cost like $100,000 that get married there, if I were to assume correctly. There were a few other venues that I considered touring. Like, one of them was Union Station, and I just never heard back about scheduling a tour. And to me, it's like, if I can't even get an email back for a tour, who says they're going to be the best to like work with for a wedding? You know what I mean? So those are all the places we toured for our wedding. That is just taking you through all of it. And I am excited to say that we actually booked a venue, and the one that we ended up booking, because we didn't want to worry about space or anything of that nature, was the Elle. We are so excited. We booked it last week, and I don't want to give away the exact date. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe as we get closer to the day, but since we're so far out, I don't know if I want to do that. But we are getting married in November of 2022. But the reason we chose to do 2 years away as opposed to next year is with the pandemic. I truly don't want to have to reschedule, because my heart goes out to people who have to reschedule. Planning a wedding already, I'm sure, is stressful enough that I don't want to have to deal with that additional stress. So we are so excited to get married at the Elle. We paid the deposit. Such a beautiful venue. If you guys are getting married in Nashville and you want to check it out, I'll leave all the information below. I'm just so excited, and I can't wait to get the whole wedding process started now that we have a date, even though it's 2 years away. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure you stick around by subscribing. Until next time, I will talk to you guys later. Bye!